Hello guys, it's that witch dude again. Yeah, so I've not posted in a while and I'm very much bored of not posting. So I'm gonna post. So yeah, in short term, I've moved. I've done a lot of things. I've moved. So that's why I've not uploaded in a while. So I'm just gonna make a quick video today on Tuesday. So, welcome in guys, it's Dowitchtude, and let's get into it. Alright, so like I said, I'm filming this on a Tuesday, okay, which I really do love Tuesday. On Tuesday, I wear red every single Tuesday, and I worship Sekhmet on every single Tuesday. Why is that? Because Tuesday is the day of Mars, the planet of war, destruction, bravery, courage, breaking through, being concentrated, being focused. So I'm like this real quick while I'm talking. A yellow candle, just associated with the sun, and some dragon's blood, also associated with Mars and the sun, kind of too. So yeah, like I was talking about, Tuesday is the day of Mars, the planet of warfare, battle strategy. It is the planet of the warrior, and is named after the Roman god Mars, who took inspiration and is in my personal opinion, an avatar and the same person as Ares, who is the god of warfare, battle strategy, bloodlust, revenge, destruction, domination. So Tuesday is the day of Mars, like I just said, and it is the planet of fire, for it is closest to the sun, which is why I worship Sekhmet on Tuesdays, because it is her sacred day, and is very closely associated, very close in the week, to the day of sun. I get distracted sometimes in these videos. It's really, there's wax on my bed now. God damn it. On my nail, mother. Okay. Yeah, like I said, Tuesday is the day of Mars, the planet of warfare, of strength, of breaking through obstacles, of breaking through addictions. This is a very good day to exercise, to be more physical. It is the martial planet. The word martial comes from the word Mars, meaning martial. Martial is what Mars rules over. So anything like martial arts, or martial thinking, or martial contact, or martial weaponry, that is what good old-fashioned Mars rules over. Now, like I said, Mars is the planet of fire, of the warrior. It is the destructive aspects of the sun's rays. While the sun is like more healing, Mars can also be used for healing as well, but it's more so used for more cardinal red themed things. So Mars is a very masculine planet, and the symbol of Mars you can see very much as the symbol for man. There's always that little thing, that little icon where it's like the blue circled little arrow coming out. That is the symbol of Mars, and the female thing of that is Venus, which is the planetary counterpart to Mars. It's the feminine counterpart. So, like Mars, Venus, like Venus, Mars can also be called on for love magic. This is more like intense love magic, like bring it back to me or he dies kind of stuff. So all those things I have listed, I'm gonna list again, because it's going to help later on in this video me explaining things, so you can come back to this portion of the video and get things done. Alright, so Mars, yet again, is the planet of conflict, warfare, battle strategy, revenge, destruction, domination. It goes against Venus, and I'm pretty sure Neptune influences. It's either Neptune or the moon, but it can very much work very well against Neptune, in my honest opinion. Now, What Venus rules over is love magic, glamorization, attraction, getting your way via attraction, good looks, persuasion, and willing in. Mars absolutely destroys that because a calmed, collected warrior mind is not going to be fooled by looks alone. It's going to go in on what benefits you fully and always having a sort of like pinch of salt on that other person. So Mars naturally works against that. And the reason why it also works against Neptune is because Neptune is the planet of illusion, of confusion, of deception, kind of. It's also a good planet for divination. It's a good planet, but still, it works against Mars. Now, Mars works against Neptune to yet again combat illusions, keep focus, keep on what's real, what is in the present, what you are after, what you are going for. That is what Mars moves for. It is motivation, it is drive, it is power, it is strength, it is willpower, it is bloodlust, it is wrath, it is revenge. So you could use all of those things in examples that I'm going to give right now. So Mars and its wrathful aspects. Mars is good for all things, quote unquote, baneful, mostly. When it comes to red magic, when it comes to like red magic and red baneful magic, which are two different things but kind of interlock a little bit, there's that midpoint they have connecting them. Mars rules over all of that, like all of it. Mars rules over very many things that are very powerful rituals. For example, the most powerful love spell in all existence. Y'all can say otherwise with your little candle spells, okay? It's the strongest spell in existence. Hi, my friend. I'm recording. You scared me.
Logan, turn that off.
Don't
now.
You tell me to turn things off in my house, boy. Bye. That was my friend. They were cool. Logan. Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, Mars rules over all types of red baneful magic. So, like, if you're gonna do domination magic, especially wrathful domination, like wrestling somebody to the ground, like punching them in the face, domination, that is also very good. Also affecting that person physically with violence, like making that person a more aggravated person, or making people around them more aggravated, which can lead to physical violence, or any sort of physical act. It can also make them lose their willpower to sort of calm them down, make them lose hope in their diet, make them lose motivation in their body. It also can, yes, be used for revenge magic, because Mars is a planet of justice and warfare. So if you have like a pending court case like that, I would use the power of Mars to receive justice upon those who had seen me wrong, and punish them very heavily, of course. Mars is also very good for very burning, baneful protection. So if you are using, say, spicier plants, anything that is very spicy is associated with Mars. So you would use that martial incorporation with the martial plant to create that martial protection where no one can take you down unless they hurt themselves really, really badly, and they're probably not gonna, survive that process of trying to attack you, just saying. And it is a very motivational planet. Like I said, it can be used in domination, and it can be used, like, for example, in the Sword of Dardanos, which I was just talking about when my friend walked in, the most powerful love spell in existence. It is very heavily martial-based. Very, very heavily martial-based. Even Aphrodite, who was mentioned in that entire spell, has martial aspects to her as well. There's always a martial aspect in Venus and a Venusian aspect in Mars. They have that connection for their opposites, essentially, like how the sun and moon have correlating things, and then we have the eclipse, which happens to them. That's a cool thing. Like I said, Mars can also be used, like I said, in domination to subject somebody. This can be used in baneful workings to bind somebody to your will and suppress them, to dominate them and have great power over them. It can be used to make your magic stronger and more impotent, and it is a very destructive planet, not impotent, like more empowered potent, like M-potent. It also can be used to create very powerful destruction. It's a very good destructive planet. Mars, you also, to look at the planets, you have to look at the ecosystem they have as well, kind of, like the weather. their terrain, whatever it is. Mars is a very destructive planet. It is covered with sulfur. It's the closest planet to the sun, so its temperatures are blazing hot. Sulfur is a very powerful, very explosive, very destructive agent that can be used for great banishings and great protections. So you can also use that in working as well, but don't burn sulfur. And if you do, wear a gas mask. The fumes will kill you. You will die. So yeah, just do that. Don't wear a mask. All right. It can also be used in all aspects of fire magic. When it comes to Mars, Mars is the planet of fire. So the planet of fire naturally includes fire magic as its main source of thing. Fire itself is a very powerful, very motivated, very destructive thing that you can use to destroy somebody. Some people will be like, don't use fire and dark magic because it's like a community thing. That's an aspect of fire. Fire has aspects, a lot of aspects to it. And one of those, of course, is destruction. You can use fire magic on the day of Mars to empower it, especially if you're destroying somebody or using the fire to get more power. It is naturally always, of course, better to call upon the aspect of Mars in the daytime when the ruling planet, the sun, is up. The sun and the moon rule the other planets. They're sort of like the king and queen of it. So Mars naturally is the subject and knight of the sun. So you can use the great power of Mars for that. Now back to motivation, which is another key aspect that Mars rules over. It can be used for exercising. You can call upon the power of Mars to exercise, or if you are somebody who is trying to learn martial arts, you can also do that on the day of Mars in order to sort of empower that and empower you to give you better physical strength. It also can be used for motivational bravery. A lot of the crystals associated with Mars, like carnelian and tiger's eye, are very martial things that you can continue to use in your practice to motivate yourself, to make yourself more confident. Whenever I started working with Sekhmet, which is working with Mars, essentially, well, worshipping Sekhmet, I don't like using the word working with at all. At all. No. Not for the gods, but for other spirits, like land spirits, working with those guys. Yeah, better thing to use. But whenever I started worshipping Sekhmet, I was like, in like this little ball. I was insecure. I was like, and my anger was like a huge thing that I had to suppress because I was like scared of hurting people. And now I don't have to use my hands to hurt people. I can just like use my words because people don't like to debate me on things because I always win. I just am. I always use my because that's what you can use. You can use Mars to channel your motivation and your anger into something that can be used for justice. A lot of the time, it can be used for justice magic in order to like be able to debate people. Working with Mars, especially when working with Sekhmet, worshipping Sekhmet, it really did help me like find my personal sense of justice and right and wrong. I can't ever be a goody two shoes. That's like I can't hurt anybody or I'm a bad person. I can't be a horrible person either. I can't be like a horrible child abuser or some shit like that. It's helped me find my main ground of that duality, of that wrathfulness, but also strength. Strength and wrathfulness. Strength mostly when it is needed, and wrathfulness when it is absolutely necessary. So that is something else you can call upon for that. If you're somebody who has anger issues, you can worship Mars or Sekhmet or Ares on this day to motivate yourself, to help yourself be better, to be stronger. It can help you naturally be stronger, but this can lead to overdose in it, making you a more violent person, so be careful with Mars, because Mars is very, very intense. It is one of the two malefics, which they're not your enemies, but still, the malefics are very powerful, because like how they are worshipping demons and worshipping higher entities, the power can go to your head and you can be punished by those things for abusing their power. So always try like keep calm and don't just work with those aspects alone. Work with the gooder aspects of those things, like the best aspects of Mars for protection. Do that to protect yourself from too much Mars influence. And I think I've gone to all the powers of Mars. Like I said, it can be used against Venus, it can be used against Neptune, it can be used for empowerment, strength, warfare, domination, love magic, and strength magic. And now the crystals and herbs that can be associated with those things. So, the crystals and herbs that are naturally associated with Mars. I'm gonna go herbs first because I like actually crystals first. I want to go crystals first because I've always been a crystal girly. I love crystals. Not anymore, but I still use them in my practice. So the first one that comes to mind when I think about Mars is carnelian. Carnelian is a very physical, very, very physical stone. The deeper the red, the stronger it is, in my personal opinion. That's just how it is. The orange ones are very nice too. I don't use faded carnelian. It's almost see-through. It's not good anymore if it's like that. Same with amethyst. If it loses its color, it's out of power. Sorry. But carnelian is used for bravery, for motivation, for physical strength, and it can also be used in darker workings to cause physical harm to somebody. So that is very much something you can do with the power of Mars, especially when the carnelian is carved. Whenever something is carved, it naturally takes the power of something that it is carved into, plus the aspects of itself. So like a carnelian lion head is very powerful, which I don't have that, but I have a carnelian heart, which the carnelian heart can be used to motivate your heart, to motivate you, to make you stronger, make your body healthier. The carnelian lion could be used for bravery, for strength, and for power as well. So yeah. And then other stones, ruby. Ruby is also a very, very strong, very powerful motivational crystal. It is used very similarly to call upon with Mars. It is the stronger version of carnelian and can be used for all of Mars's aspects. It is the stone of Mars. The stone of Mars. It is very powerful. Usually the ones that come to mind first are the ones more available, and then the ones that are more powerful. That's how I'm going to do it from now on. But the ones that are more powerful is ruby. Ruby is very strong. It is very war-based. It has been used by kings adorned in golden crowns for centuries. It is believed to have great power, to have great strength, and to control others, and even dominate spirits and demons. So that's another thing you can use on the day of Mars, is rubies. Which rubies are expensive, but you can get the low-grade ones decently cheap. They might run like around $300 to $100, but still, ruby is ruby. You can polish it yourself, in my honest opinion. It's more powerful to do that, by the way. It's more powerful if you carve your own stuff and shine your own things. That's some big have some big company do it. And another one, I forgot, cinnabar. Cinnabar is also a very good plant for not a plant, a crystal. Jeez, cinnabar is also a very good crystal for martial magic. It is a toxic crystal, so do not ingest it. But it can be used in paints and anointments to make powders they can use as ink to write spells with, especially more wrathful and baneful spells. That's what we can use it with. And those are all the ones that I want to talk about. And sulfur. Sulfur is also a crystal technically. Also, it's a stone too. So yeah. Sulfur, yet again, it's also toxic. Or you will see these things have a lot of like very toxic things to them. Not like the dark toxic, like the explosive toxic. So yeah. Sulfur is used for destruction, just annihilation, and exploding things, making a wrathful situation become more wrathful, empowering spells, and empowering yourself. So that's another thing you can use on the day of Mars for any sort of working with a martial planet, or a martial avatar, or a martial deity, or a martial plant too. So yeah, speaking of plants, we're gonna go into the martial plants. I'm so bad at recording videos. Really bad. But yes, Jesus fucking yes, we have the plants now. The plants that are ruled by Mars are anything hot, like peppers, like habaneros, red chilies. Those things can be used, yet again, for domination, love magics, for great lust workings. They can be used for revenge, court cases, and yet again, dark magic. That is, well, not really dark magic, more so like burning magic. That's what I would say. Burning magic, revenge magic, wrathful magic. That is, of course, utilized during the day, and they're also protective, which you can use in these work. All these plants I mentioned are protective, and crystals that I mentioned are protective, that you can use for protection during the day of Mars. Another really good one is dragon's blood. Dragon's blood is the resin of Mars. Whenever you burn dragon's blood resin on a charcoal disc, it looks like a beating heart. So it carries that life force, that power, that drive, that strength. Dragon's blood is used to empower and strengthen things. It is used to motivate the self, to banish and burn away evil, and to bring in strength and protection. So you could use that in there, of course. These are just a few herbs that I'm mentioning. I can go into like a whole list, which I probably will go into a whole list. I probably will make like a little like planetary list. And not like a deity herb list, probably. But then now I'm gonna talk about some deities because I might as well. I'm bored. But you can use all those plants and crystals any way you should on the day of Mars. Make sure you're actually doing things that go with it. Don't try to make a salad with thumbtacks. Okay. So some deities that are naturally rulers of Mars are, of course, Lord Ares, who is the Greek god of warfare and battle strategy and wrath. And he's also Mars, who the planet is named after. They have different aspects, but still, they're the same person, in my honest opinion. And so, by doing that, well, they're kind of like a fusion. They're a fusion. They're a fusion. They're the same thing, but they're a fusion. Alright. And so, Ares is the lord of warfare and battle strategy, and he is the main god to the Spartans, who are naturally more war-centric and were trained at, essentially from birth in their art of combat. So that is why Lord Ares is associated with the planet of Mars and why he rules over it. He is the god of Mars. Other gods of Mars include, of course, Sekhmet, but she's more like Sun and Mars. Ares is like double Mars. She's like Sun Mars. When it comes to Sekhmet, she is very incredibly wrathful, even more wrathful than Lord Ares, but she's not always wrathful. She's also very balanced, like how he is. But her rage quite literally changed the world in her story in ancient Greece, where she went on a killing spree and slaughtered almost the entire human population, because almost the entire human population was going against and disrespecting the gods. So she was created from the Eye of Ra, which she is, to go take down humanity. So that embodies her wrathful aspects, which you can call upon in great, very powerful burning magic workings, and all workings that motivate you with rage. If you're trying to get back at somebody, but being better than them, being more healthy than they are, being a better person they are, Mars definitely kicks you in the butt and helps you do that, but it also lowers you down really good to make sure you're not too egotistical. Says you can use your rage, but rage is a very powerful emotion, so it's best not let it consume you, but let you consume it. Anyways, that's my video on Mars, so there's not really much I want to talk about it. So I thank you, my lovelies. This video isn't the best. None of my videos are. I don't edit them. I don't reset them. I reset this video 5 times, but still I make mistakes in the videos because I'm a neurodivergent weirdo. I think I'm neurodivergent. I don't know. I have some spectrum-y stuff. I am on the spectrum, so yeah, I get distracted a lot, like how I just did now. But I love you all. Goodbye. Safe blessings. Dua Sekhmet, Dua the gods, and I'll see y'all later on. Bye.